Welcome back to the Athletic Golf Project channel, guys. Today you're going to learn how to avoid chunks, thins, and all kinds of bad shots when the ball's sitting on the ground. You have to control three things: arc height, low point, and entry point. And if you change one of those three things, you're going to change the other things. Arc height is the height the club face is traveling on. So for example, on these couple of practice swings, the arc height is so high it doesn't even touch the ground. If you lower the arc height on the same radius, eventually you're going to hit the ground. If you lower it even more, the arc height is so low that the entry point shifts back. So you just have to understand the geometry. So let's do it one more time. My arc height is too high. This is where all my thins live. And if I don't change the low point's location of my arc height, if I just drop it straight down, eventually I'm going to hit the ground. That was my ground hit. And if I drop it too low, I'm going to bottom out too far back. So if you're not changing your low point's location, just leave it kind of right where the ball is, the entry point shifts further and further back if the arc height drops down. And as you can see in all those strikes here of the PGA Tour, you can see the balls hit first, the entry point shifts to after the ball on the target side, and the arc height is low enough to hit the ground. So we need to get the arc height all the way down, but also shift the low point left to hit the ball flush like a tour player. I want to hit one shot real quick. Sadly, we are on a mat, so I can't demonstrate a divot. Yes, we can go back here and hit one shot out of this grass. So here's my arc height again, too high. Now it's lower. Now I'm gonna shift the low point to the left side so the divot starts after the ball. That was perfect. But once again, the Athletic Golf Project channel doesn't talk much about theory. We know about the theory, but we have to get you better right away. So let's go straight into training. Arc height training goes like this. Take a tee, and we're gonna practice different heights, even with the 8-iron. So I'm gonna tee it up like a driver, and I'm going to try to feel the height of this very high teed up 8-iron. And I'm going to lower the tee a little bit. There you go, it's a little bit lower. And we're going to practice the same shot, just a little bit lower. If your arc height drops accidentally too much, the ball will be hit too high on the face. And we're going to practice one off the ground. And all we're feeling right now is how high the club face travels in relationship to the ground. Alright, so we hit that one a little bit thin. And that can happen. So in this one, my arc height was just a little bit too high. And the next one, feel the arc height dropping down a little bit more. We're constantly observing, where is my arc height? That was better. The most typical way people miss the arc height too high is because they diminish the radius. The radius gets smaller and smaller, and the way it looks technically is they're simply pulling the arms in. So of course, if I have my arms bent, if I don't go into a long arced, arms straight, fully extended position, of course the club face doesn't return back to the ground. So we have to practice extending your arms. It's almost like I'm throwing the club down the range like this. And yes, I have trained beginners like that. It's like you're letting the stick slide out of your hands. Do it together and throw. Beautiful. Love it. Straight throws. Good. So not only are we training the arc height with different tee heights and the ball off the ground, we're also training the max possible radius, so the arc height can be as low as possible. Now, if you catch a few chunky ones, and this is now step 2, because your arc height is so low, because you have a massive radius, no big deal. We're just going to teach you where the entry point should be with the mat, right? And where the entry point is then also kind of helps the low point to shift further and forward. So the next exercise is like this. This is position 1, 2, and 3. Start at position 2, and then try to bottom out at position 3. Back there, always with the long arc. Now try to bottom out position 1, long arcs. Try to bottom out at position 2, and you're feeling 3, 2, and 1. Good golf obviously lives at 1.5. So kind of like in this area. All right, so let's practice it one more time. We're gonna bottom out back at 3. That would have been a chunky one. Let's bottom out forward. That would have been a thin one because the low point is too far forward. All right, I'm gonna bottom out at 2. And then I'm gonna bottom out at 1.5. This is how you practice your awareness, your skills, and whatever your weight transfer does is what it is. As long as you get the job done, bottoming out at 1.5. Once again, you're going to have the quickest access to bottoming out forward barely after the ball if you practice all of the positions, 1, 2, and 3. What you can also do is, give yourself 5 positions. And that's 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. And you can have a friend yell at the end of the backswing and say 2.5. And then a friend says 1. Friend says 3. And then friend says 1.5. And you're gonna bottom out perfectly. If you feel that reactionary, you're gonna be a good golfer. You're gonna be an athletic golfer. So now we've practiced arc height with the different tee heights. We've practiced our low point location. There's nothing else to do. You're gonna be a good golfer. I'll say this again, as long as you always worry about getting as much radius as possible. One of the sneakiest ways to practice radius and a lower arc height, so you get that divot finally, and then you shift the divot into the right spot with this exercise, is by finishing with your hands as far away from the left ear as possible. So narrow finishes are not seen on a tour. If it comes in later, that's fine. But what we don't want to do is have an arrow here. That would raise the arc height and then would hit a lot of thin shots unless I maybe dip. I didn't even. There you go. So now I can hit the ground, but I'm pretty sure you don't want to look like this. You want to look like that. Correct? Yes. All right, we're going to hit one more shot here. We're going to do a practice swing, long arms, entry point at 1.5. And push yourself to a longer and longer arc every time you hit a shot. Another benefit of the long arc is this. If you intend a long arc, your left wrist has to go into what we call ulnar deviation. If the wrists go down, it has no chance to go into an extended position. Anatomically, it's impossible. So only if the wrists go narrow, the left wrist goes into a weak position and you're going to deliver a lot of loft. The ball will go very high and spinny. But if you intend to go into a long arc, the wrists go down, anatomically it will be flat or even slightly flexed. Then the shaft is more likely to lean and de-loft, and my 8-iron turns into a 6-iron. So long arcs are really good also to get more ball speed out of your clubhead speed because we have more shaft lean through a left wrist flat condition. Thanks for watching, guys. No more chunks and thins. Appreciate everyone watching. Give me feedback, give me comments. Let me know what you want me to explain more. And have a nice day. Like and subscribe.